good morning. We have seen plenty of rainfall here across the southeastern portions of the Philippines over the past 24 hours, all thanks to our low pressure area, also known as Invest 92W. Regardless of what you call it, by the way, it is scrambled eggs here, is what I like to say. It's not very organized on satellite picture, but there is still plenty of convection associated with it. Thus, we have plenty of rainfall in the forecast. That's the main topic of the update today. I do want to also mention, though, today, if you are unaware, I'm pretty sure most of you are aware, since most of you are from the Western Pacific, it is the 10th year anniversary of the Great East Japan Earthquake. And I even put out a video earlier on today about this, discussing my story, my experience with this earthquake a decade ago and how it impacted me and my family. So check it out here on this YouTube channel if you do want to. All right, let's get back to our storm system. And really at this time, I mean, the low pressure center, at least the elongated low with this, is actually located here across almost over towards Davao and southern areas of Mindanao. But that's not where the worst of the weather is. The worst of the weather, thanks to the gradient interacting with our low pressure center and a high pressure towards the north, is really flowing onshore here across southeastern Luzon, eastern areas of Samar, and also eastern areas of Leyte as well. You've been seeing some pretty decent rainfall over the course of the past 24 hours. You kind of see what I'm talking about here when we take a look at the overall wind flow with our low pressure center way down here towards the south, and you have those winds coming onshore. Also gale force conditions being seen here, so pretty decent chop, rip currents, anything like that. So if you have plans to go to the beach along the eastern seaboards, just be aware of that. It's not a good day to get out there in the water at the very least. And you can just see where that inflow is bringing the bulk of that precipitation here on Friday morning. A few strong thunderstorms with this as well. And of course, that threat of flooding. And this is what I was talking about. Actually, this is right on the southern tip of Samar there, 126 millimeters was reported. Surigao, 52 millimeters, and also there in the eastern areas of Mindanao. In this location, in fact, this is where we saw some pretty serious flooding with all rain. Last thing they need is more rainfall, right? Well, they got 104 millimeters in the past 48 hours. So it has been a drencher, to say the least, despite the fact this is disorganized. Still is bringing that problem as far as heavy rainfall and the threat of flooding. All right, so we are expecting a continued shear, basically upwards of 20 to 30 knots towards the north. One reason why most of this is not reaching central and northern Luzon. It's going to stay down here towards central Visayas, where the shear is a little bit more lax. There's more moisture. Plus, there's just more dry air filtering in from the north. So as we look ahead through Saturday morning, you continue to see that flow coming on shore. Sunday, the low pressure center starts to move over towards the Sulu Sea, and we still see the inflow, but it really becomes more scattered. You might see some areas fire up along the eastern seaboards of the Sierra Madre Mountains, and even a few showers as we go ahead in the Monday sneak over towards the Cagayan Valley. But overall, most of this is going to stay off towards the east. Manila, you're going to remain relatively dry, even off towards places like Subic. You're for sure going to stay on the dry side as well throughout the duration of this. So the bulk of the rain, like I mentioned, really just tracking eastern areas of Samar, eastern Leyte. Cebu, we're probably going to get a little bit of the action, and maybe even northern areas of Palawan as we go ahead over towards Sunday into Monday. Back towards north, eastern Luzon, while Manila stays on the dry side relatively. You can see the total precip. It's under 10 millimeters over the course of the next three days right there, or 5 days, I should say. All right, so the overall impacts, well, heavy rain is moderate. Storm surge, non-existent with a system like this, and the wind damage, mainly gale force conditions along the eastern seaboards, bringing that chop. Very disorganized, so that's the key thing. Still more rainfall, and yeah, that's the big thing. As we look ahead, just be aware of that flood threat, maybe even some landslides as well possible. All right, if you haven't already and you're watching this update, please help me out. Subscribe. I know YouTubers say it a lot, but I truly mean it, and it is going to help me out a lot here. Also, check out westernpacificweather.com. I always share my Patreon as far as people helping out, keeping these updates going. But if you stop by westernpacificweather.com, I do have some donation buttons there if you guys want to help out keeping these videos on air as far as keeping them monetized and everything. I know I got ads on these videos, but they don't really bring in that much money. It's actually startlingly low the amount of money that comes in compared to the amount of time and effort I put into these videos. That's how I do often ask about just checking out our Patreon and westernpacificweather.com. You can also follow me on these social media platforms if you do find these videos useful. Regardless, thanks for watching, guys. As always, stay safe out there. I hope most of you have stayed safe and dry throughout the duration of this storm.